Hey, everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zan. Of course, I'm joined by the one, the only, the Chicago deep dish himself, Rich Stambolian.
Just call me the Chicago Kid, baby. I had deep dish pizza yesterday for the first time.
How was it?
Talk to me after the show.
Oh, you hated it, huh? I knew you would hate it. I knew it's not pizza, dude. It's a pie.
I'll explain this to you at length when I see you, and all the other weird stuff that I've been seeing. Chicago's great. Chicago's awesome, by the way. It's very clean. My perspective on where we are in Chicago is if, as New Yorkers, we died and then woke up in a city that New York should have been.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. It's like a bizarre New York.
Dude, super clean, super friendly. Everybody just is very nice, skyscrapers, hot dogs everywhere. It's effing crazy.
Hot dogs and skyscrapers. What are you, in the Big Apple?
There are a lot of spiders, though.
You're kidding me.
Dude, there's spiders. I said this to my wife.
Is that some sort of street gang? The spiders,
I said this to my wife yesterday. I was like, I never thought I'd constantly be saying, there's spiders everywhere.
Oh my God. It's actually really weird. The way that we're doing the show right now, I got a flight tomorrow morning at 7. It's 10:40-ish on the East Coast here on Thursday. I have to jet out of here, buy some stuff, go to work, get home at like midnight, pack, make sure all the equipment's packed, make sure all my shit is packed, and then head over to the airport at 6 in the morning because I'm going out of LaGuardia this time. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a very hectic couple of days. But I'm excited to do this again with you guys. We're going to be live in Chicago for All Out. This is going to be a big trip, I believe. MG Geeks coming, Treehouse Vince, Suncast, my wife, your wife, me, you, and then all of the F4W and the Wrestling Observer crew. Denise is going to be there, obviously. Sean's going to be there. So a lot of our friends that we saw in Vegas or didn't get to see in Vegas are going to be in Chicago also. So this is going to be a jam, Rich. It's going to be a jam.
I'm super, super excited, especially because this will be a more relaxed Matt Men experience than Vegas, I think. We're going to be there.
I think this is what's going to happen, right? We're going to go out for a couple drinks, like Friday, for example. We're going to get there Friday. By the way, we have a lot of wrestling to talk about also. I have not tweeted out that we're live here, so probably most people don't know that we're live. If you are watching this, tweet it out that we're live. I've had no time today. It's been insane. An insane day. So, putting this trip together, like Friday, well, I'm sure I'm going to get there like 11. By 1 o'clock, I'm going to have the itch to have a couple drinks.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to start hitting you up and Suncast and MG. And I'm like, okay, when is everybody getting in?
Yeah.
Let's get a couple cocktails. So probably like in the afternoon, we'll probably get a couple drinks.
Sounds amazing.
Eat something and take it easy on Friday. Saturday, live Matt Men. You and I do live Matt Men in the morning. I'm also doing a live. We're live, beautiful. Pal. Possibly with Dave and Brian. Possibly.
That'd be tremendous.
Yeah, possibly. So it's there's a lot of variables. So Saturday we're going to do that. I don't know what else we'll do on Saturday. Maybe explore a little bit, go out eating, go out drinking, do something. And then Sunday is the F4W Q&A session, which I'll be there. Rich, you're going to join me, obviously. We'll just hang out for a little bit in the hotel and then get on ready to go to the pay-per-view, and that's it. I mean, it's going to be you're right. It's going to be relaxed, but still going to be hectic.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be relaxed. And I think once we see everybody, it's going to, there's the potential that it might get wild, which I'm okay with.
There is, which I'm cool with that. So you're in Chicago right now.
I'm in Chicago right now. We drove to Cleveland on Monday, stayed in Cleveland for one night, drove to Chicago the next day, and we've been in Chicago for the last couple of days. It's been fantastic. I'm excited to see you and all the mutant zombies this weekend, and just have a good time, man. Are you pumped?
Yeah, man, I am pumped. I wish it wasn't as like tight from like the last trip to today, you know. And last night we got pummeled by a big storm here, so it's like, okay, I'm getting in here. I'm in here. I'm almost ready. So, but there is a lot to talk about. So, where do you want to begin, Rich?
All right.
You want to start with the news?
Let's start with the news. All right. So, as per Fightful Select, WrestleMania 38 might be 2 nights again.
Yeah. So, when they did 2 nights for this WrestleMania, I was told it would be the last time.
Okay.
So obviously that has changed. I know Steph is a big proponent for doing 2 nights. I know a lot of people within the company are. The talent likes the 2 nights.
Yeah.
If you're watching at home, you like the 2 nights because it's way easier to watch a 3.5 hour show 2 nights in a row than a 7 hour show and try to fit everything in. But, I don't know how this is going to translate to actual attendance and ticket holders. That's my only thing here, where do you want to go to WrestleMania for 2 nights?
Honestly, I feel like it's more palpable. I think we both feel the same way. Where like
I guess
you and I share a very similar perspective on a lot of stuff when it comes to wrestling. And one of those things is just give us a short, tight show, right? WrestleMania 1 night, 3 hours. WrestleMania 2nd night, 3 hours. I'm happy. Would I spend an 8-hour day there and feel great? Probably not.
Probably not. No. But you know what? I think you are right, because watching it is a lot more fun, but going, I would imagine that most people are going to be at both shows. If you're going to WrestleMania, if you're traveling for WrestleMania, you're most likely going to try to go to both shows. I mean, think about how expensive that gets. Holy moly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. I would say that since NXT isn't going to be running, I shouldn't say that. Since NXT isn't going to be, this hot commodity ticket to run with also, and a lot of the indies are gone except for GCW at this point.
Right.
I think a lot of them are going to come back, but maybe they do feel like they've done their market research and discovered that, hey, 2 nights is a way better option for us. I don't know. I'm still, I'm as a traditionalist for a pay-per-view, I kind of like it 1 night. But I also understand, like, the 8 hours is ridiculous. 7 hours is ridiculous for a show.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle here. I have a lot of personal opinions on this, so like I'm trying to not to be like, hell with it. What are they going to do? Charge me 2 nights in a row? Like, think about it. You're getting tickets for WrestleMania. You're going. It's not a cheap thing. We just did Vegas, and knock on wood, a lot of our stuff was taken care of. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. It would be like $3,000 for us.
For sure. Like I think it's the effort and the implementation that really rack it up. Let's say we got a couple of tickets, we end up spending like, let's say $1,200 between the both of us on tickets for 2 nights, right? And then accommodation, travel, food, et cetera, like food at the venue. Like I think at Allegiant Stadium, those beers were like $12-13 each.
They were $12-13 a piece. Yes.
Yeah. And listen, I know what you're saying out there. You can just not drink beer at a show, but you know what? I poo-poo on that. We must.
I poo-poo on that also. We must. Yeah. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens there. I don't have anything beyond what Sean reported. I've heard the same exact rumblings that it's a conversation, but it's always a conversation. So it's very possible Sean is 100% on this. A lot of NXT news happening. Yesterday, so obviously we know there's a new logo coming, and that's right out of WWE's services. The music is produced by Wale, so you could see that they're going more of a pop culture type feel rather than going with like the metal and the Triple H motorcycle club.
One big motorcycle for everybody.
Just one big motorcycle. That's it. But here's the interesting thing. So a report came out yesterday that Vince and Bruce are now producing. Okay.
Bruce Pritchard. So I was in the middle of like deep, like day job work stuff. Okay. So I haven't followed up. I didn't do any, I didn't say anything. I didn't look at anything. So all of a sudden I see a bunch of messages, and I look at my DMs. It was like 7 DMs, and Brian messaged me. And Brian's like, hey, you want to fill me in on any of this? You know what I mean? Like, I'm filling in the words here, but pretty much he was like, hey, what do you know? Yeah. And I'm like, actually, I didn't ask anybody. Let me ask. And I messaged and I asked, and I put out the message, right? And I want to kind of break this down and piggyback off of some other stuff. Vince has been very hands-on and will continue moving forward. That's all that they said. And my question was, hey, what's going on with NXT? Are the rumors true? And I sent the link to Vince and Bruce producing NXT. Okay.
All right. So what does this mean? Let me pull up some more notes here. because it's important to get the wording right. So this is what I'm seeing, right? This doesn't mean that Hunter and whoever HBK are pulled from their power, right? The operational end has not changed. That's still staying in place. It would be more of the TV that's going to be handled by, I guess you could say, the WWE side, rather than the NXT side, right?
Well,
I guess that would be a fair way to put it.
Well, also wouldn't the focus on talent be more skewed to the big new people than scanning the indies and sending William Regal out to like PWG shows like they used to?
Yeah. Well, they're not going to do that either. That those days are done, and they're going back to how they used to scout, and they want to scout athletes, Olympians, collegiate athletes, things like that, or anomalies, 7-foot bodybuilders. They're going to go back to the old way they did it. Now, this doesn't mean that the indie guys are not going to get hired, because eventually you got to start somewhere, and they are going to hire. But they're not going to hire. They're not actively looking to sign a Ricochet. All right. Let's just put it that way. They're not. That's not what they're going for. Where maybe in 2015 to 2017, 18, that was the direction they were going in, where they were trying to get the biggest names and allowing them to keep their character and their gimmicks and their names. They've now gone back to the old way of doing it, where let us find you, let us build you, and let us create you. I think that's going to be NXT.
I mean, that's what they used to do, right? Like in the old days of OVW and FCW, it was a lot of like those physical prospects, right? Yeah. Like the guys
Bobby Lashley. Look at the roster now. Yeah. Bobby Lashley wasn't an indie darling, right?
No.
Big E. Big E's another great example, which he's going to get a huge push coming up. He was not an indie darling.
A lot of their top guys over the last few years, I think people fail to remember, like Braun Strowman, not an indie darling. Braun Strowman was homegrown. He was on the Ho Train with what's his name? Not the Ho Train, that party train thing with Adam Rose. He was one of the Rosebuds.
He was one of the Rose. By the way, Adam Mish in the chat room with a beautiful compliment. Rich looks way more handsome when I catch the show live.
Oh yeah, Adam Mish, love you, baby.
Yeah, so NXT will be different. Okay, let's just next week. Is it next week we're gonna see the change? Right? Was it 3 weeks of taping? We have one more week of taping. I can't remember.
I want to say one more week of taping, and then the week after that's going to be the implementation with the new logo. How do you feel about that logo, by the way? That really split everybody in half.
Yeah, I don't really have much feelings towards it. But they did just change the logo.
Yeah, they put a skull. They put a funky skull on it with wings, and then they were like.
Can you believe? Like, can you imagine if that was it for Vince? That was the moment. He's like, Hunter, enough of this shit. Enough of the skulls and the motorcycles and the wings and the leather jackets. Enough. We're over this. It's over. Give me the book. I'm taking over. We're going colors.
He wants to put a leather jacket and cool motorcycle onto everything, but I don't think Hunter can ride a motorcycle. He always came out on those like really big like tricycle ones.
Yeah. Maybe he can. I don't know. Maybe he's a bike guy. Maybe he just likes to keep his balance on the ramp. So listen, to kind of go into it, Vince and Bruce are going to have their hand in this, including other people. They're the two names that came up. They're not. It's not like Vince is going to be there weekly. But it is going to be less closed in. Let's just say it that way. NXT is going to be less closed in to their people.
Okay.
Also, we already saw the changes with the taping. Have you watched the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. It's for sure skewing more towards like a main event style.
Yeah, and look, who
main roster. Sorry.
I was listening to Brian and Dave this morning. And he had a good point. He's like, listen, Kyle O'Reilly was not wrestling Roderick Strong on these tapings. He was wrestling, someone up and coming. The same thing with Roddy.
Right.
They're going to use these guys, these veterans, in a position to get these other guys over, like a Dexter Loomis and what's the other one's name that they're really high on?
Ridge Holland.
Ridge Holland. Rich Hollins. I mean, these are fascinating looking guys, and that's kind of what they want. Everybody's a cartoon. I keep saying this week after week, and that's how they book it now. You got to be a cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just the history of WWE, and it's like that's what they kind of rely on, right? Where they're like, when shit goes haywire, their immediate answer is make everybody a cartoon.
Yeah. Listen, we'll see what happens. I'm very interested to see what happens.
We got a super chat.
Yeah.
We got a super chat here. We actually do have 2 super chats that we missed before. I apologize, guys. We got one from Frank Gradia. I know it's crazy to ask. Any news on Adam Cole? Does WWE still have a chance?
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't think it's happening now. I think something shifted, unless there's a big surprise with Adam Cole, and they've been really good at keeping it. But I if you're gonna let your contract lapse, then I would imagine that you're not too thrilled, and they haven't done a good enough job to sign you.
We got another one from Charles LePage for $5. Now that thank you very much, Charles. Now that CM Punk is in AEW, will AEW open the forbidden door to ROH for a crossover event?
I don't know. I find that the lack of relationship interesting. Initially they had said that ROH felt that they were, like they got screwed when the Bucks left and everybody left. And I don't know. I feel like they've made a lot of bad calls.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. And also, like, at this point, do they really need to? I don't think so.
Well, we'll see. I think everybody's going to eventually work with everybody. Out of call free agency, obviously still a hot topic. We're probably a week or so away from getting some sort of answer here. We'll see what happens. New NXT signing, Joseph Fatu, the youngest Uso. So there's another Uso in here. And Bobby Stevenson, Gable's brother.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you have the list of these signings? It's interesting.
I do. I got Ben Buchanan up next. I'm assuming Bull Buchanan's son.
Bill, yes, of course.
Brady Booker, Bobby
T's
Stevenson.
son.
Oh, Booker T's son, Bobby Stevenson, Jessica Wynilko. I think I'm saying that right. Joshua Dawkins, Angela Dawkins' son.
Yeah.
And interesting. These are the guys that they're gonna try to mold into the new generation of superstars. But I find that so fascinating because there's so many. Take Jade Cargill, for example, right? Yeah. I feel like WWE dropped the ball tremendously with her, right? Because she was part of a PC class a few years ago.
She was, but sometimes they just don't know what to do with someone. Like it really. I always find that interesting. Like I could look at something and you could look at something and I see something totally different. And I think that's the case with, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that will just pass through, under the radar because it's just someone didn't catch something. Kenny Omega was in developmental.
Right.
I mean, think of that, right? He was in Deep South and he said it was utter misery and he hated it. It was weird to be there. Think about how many of those guys with that potential were in some sort of developmental that never made it. The same thing goes for like a Seth Rollins. One bad, he was always like one bad day away from someone like brushing him off. That's just how it is. It's crazy to think about it that way. CM Punk's great story about being in developmental and being told that he'll never make it, which is wild to me.
But that's like, you hear those stories from like everybody, right? Like you hear like even Samoa Joe when he signed on to NXT, they were like, yeah, you're basically going to be like a trainer style wrestler and elevate these guys. And then all of a sudden this guy sells like 100,000 t-shirts in a day.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, listen, you're going to blah, blah, blah. And now he's a 3-time NXT champ. He was on commentary, like it's very fascinating what the trajectory of this stuff is, and it's always, I think it's always like the least expected and the most expected at the same time, in terms of talent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we'll see. Where else do we have? We have signings. Tony Khan interview with The Observer. But this was an interesting interview. I really recommend you check it out with Garrett and Dave. They recorded last week. Looking to make more additions over the next 6 months. They're really looking to stack up this roster. And Tony's said repeatedly that like the 97 WCW roster was probably the greatest of all time, which,
oh my God.
I got to tell you something though. As far as name power goes, yes. As far as like in-ring talent, I would say no. I would say that WWE's, the last couple of years is a better roster. As far as talent goes, as far as in-ring goes.
In 97, you mean?
No, I mean like 2018, 19 WWE roster, mainstream roster was probably, as far as athleticism goes, the in-ring ability, I would say that was probably one of the best rosters they've ever had the last couple of years. I don't think anybody could deny the talent on the roster. But as far as like star power goes and names, WCW is killing it that year in 97.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not? You got Hogan, Savage, Goldberg starts out, Nash, Hall. Then you got all the up and coming guys like Jericho, Malenko. Well, not Malenko. Malenko's been around for a while. Benoit, Eddie. I mean, unbelievable.
All the cruisers, Rey Mysterio, like everybody, you know.
AEW also announced proof of vaccinations for Grand Slam in Queens. Now, this caused a hot debate online. People were done with AEW, and then there were people saying like, well, I'm not supporting a company that goes to cities and states that support this. I'm like, guys, let these guys make money. All right.
Yeah.
I get it. Listen, it's annoying. I understand. I get it. It's not AEW. It's the city. You can't even go to a goddamn restaurant without showing your vaccine card right now in New York. I just want people to know that. It's not like AEW decided to do this a couple of weeks out after selling out the tickets.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. Go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
The only pain with that is that I was reading, since I've been out of town and the US Open is happening in Flushing. I was reading all week about how people are so infuriated that even though they have their Vax passes, the time to check them is like 2 hours. Basically, you're waiting online for 2 hours.
Oh, I know, for the U.S. Open. Yeah. I know it was because nobody knows what to do. It's such an uncomfortable thing for the people to ask too.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes I'm nasty about it. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, again.
Oh, I thought you meant show me your Vax card, big boy. Like that.
Like that.
That kind of nasty.
No, like I get annoyed at it too. Like. Like I'll give an example, right? Place I go to all the time. I showed it the first time, right? I showed them the freaking card. They know
card or the app?
I showed I had the card on me. The actual card on me. I have the app too, but I had the card. Huh?
The one that says Mad.
Yeah, it says Pfizer with an F and not a P. So I showed it to her and she's like, okay. I go out. The next day I come back. She goes, "Hey Andrew," and she goes, "Can you show me your vaccination pass?" I go, "No, I'm not doing it again. You saw me yesterday. You know me. I'm not doing it." And she started laughing.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, that is kind of stupid. I just saw it." I'm like, "Make my life a little bit easier." And then you know what? I took my martini. I went like this. I took a sip. I go, "Yuck," and I just splashed it in her face.
That gives me all I need to know about who.
You hear me, Jen?
Oh, I thought it was Diana.
No, it was Jen.
Did you ever splash a martini in Diana's face?
I never got a chance to do it, man. She never let me do it.
Really, are we gonna splash Can we splash martinis in people's faces this weekend?
Yeah, we're gonna do it all weekend.
Yeah.
So AEW vaccinated guys. Listen, if you're vaccinated, great. If you're not, go get it done. If you don't want to get it done, don't do it. I don't know what to tell you. Do whatever the hell you want to do at this point. Dynamite coming to UBS Arena, not USB Arena.
I saw that and I was like, that's wrong.
Yeah, UBS Arena. But you know what? Everybody's calling it USB Arena. So I got a fascinating message from somebody, a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, you want to hear something?" I said, "Sure." He goes, "We're getting AEW in Long Island." I go, "Where? The Coliseum?" He's like, "No, the new building, UBS." I was like, "Really? What do you know?" He goes, "December. It's happening." So I'm like, all right, cool. So AEW is coming to Long Island December 12th. December 8th. We'll see brand new building, UBS Arena. It's a brand new building that they put together in Belmont. So it'll be nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll be there for that one. And Pac and Andrade got postponed from All Out due to travel issues with Pac. We'll see what that means. They're going to do it on TV, though.
He should just get a place in Florida like everybody else.
He doesn't want to, man. He doesn't like the heat. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. You want to go into some of the other stuff?
Do you want to quickly do the NWA stuff, which is kind of interesting this weekend?
Yeah. Flair showed up.
So Flair showed up. You had the NWA Empower, which was like the all women's part of the weekend, right? Gail Kim was saved by Awesome Kong, who then retired in the ring. I mean, this is like her third retirement, right?
Yeah.
Deanna Purrazzo beat Melina to retain the knockout title. Camille beat Layla Hirsch to retain. Chelsea Green won the Invitational Cup, meaning that she could face Camille at NWA 73.
Okay, that's cool.
Flair showed up, cut a promo. Ric Flair, it's insane that he's still so synonymous with the NWA, right?
Isn't it? I'm telling you, we're in like a bizarre universe where the NWA still exists. Ric Flair is showing up there. It's like it was weird. It was like, wow, okay, this is cool. You got Flair showing up. I don't think anybody thought that the NWA would have Ric Flair show up. You know,
right?
I don't think that was a thing.
It was super cool. You also had Camille beating Chelsea Green to retain the NWA World's Championship. You had NWA Championship match, Trevor Murdoch beating Nick Aldis.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fascinating. And I don't know about you, but I feel like there was such untapped potential to have Nick Aldis on AEW.
Maybe this is how you do it. Maybe I don't think Trevor Murdoch's going to hold the title long. This was a very traditional, NWA style match. They had, the big bruiser versus like the golden child. They did a good job with this. I enjoyed the match. I thought Trevor, great accomplishment for Trevor Murdoch.
Absolutely. He was one of those guys that was always like a straight brawler,
Yeah, what was it? Caden Murdoch, right?
Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that tag team.
I did too. I really enjoyed that tag team, and it was really weird that they didn't really do anything with it. Lance Cade, I mean, he had tremendous potential. Oh my God, he died. He died at 29.
Yeah, dude, really nuts.
I did not remember he was that young. They were going to do the HBK gimmick. Remember that?
That's right.
They wanted to do HBK. Fascinating. Yeah, it was cool. All Out weekend, obviously, we arrive on Friday. Tomorrow, I'll be there. You can check our Twitter, obviously, to see everything that's happening. Possible meetup. We'll see what we're going to do with that. I'm trying to put it together. I'll have everything on our social media. Saturday, live with Wrestling Observer. We're going to be live Saturday morning with Denise and Garrett with We're Live Pal and possibly Dave O'Brien. We're going to try to figure that out. Rich and I are going to be doing a live Mat Men. Also, Sunday morning Q&A with the Wrestling Observer crew. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm going to kind of skip everything because I'm running out of time here and I need to get out of here soon. So
you got to go?
soon, yeah. So Raw, here's some of the stuff that happened on Raw to kind of clarify. Vince did arrive and redo that freaking script multiple times. He was not happy with the show. It was very evident that the show was changed because none of the matches that were advertised from last week actually happened.
Weird, right?
Very weird. Very weird that all of them would be canceled. And what the hell happened with Nia and Charlotte?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
That was strange. I mean, you know what happened to me? Like watching it for me, I was like, okay, they probably lost, like something happened where they lost like the match, right? The match kind of got derailed.
Okay.
I don't know, like Charlotte slapped her and then went again and then she like responded back and I think it got hot for like a second and they were just like, and then they went home right after. So
yeah,
I very interesting. I think they maybe got hot and they tried to make it look like a work,
Yeah.
I think that could have been it. Like, I think they both like realized like, oh shit, what are we doing here? And then they tried to make it work, make it into a work and it looked even more awkward. But Charlotte got dumped on her head twice.
Yeah, for
really
sure.
nasty. And, Rhea on that turnbuckle spot knocked her head also. So I'm like,
put the belt on Nia for a year. Make her like this Andre the Giant unstoppable monster.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal with that was. It would look really weird. There weren't any like backstage altercations after the fact. So, I don't beyond that, I mean that it is what it is, but very interesting. Damian Priest looks like $1 million. He defeated
dude.
Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. That was a fantastic match. I would say that was a match of the night.
Do you think Damian Priest is starting to fit the mold a little bit? Because remember when he got called up from NXT, both of us were like, "Yo, he's great, but are they going to know what to do with the guy?"
Yeah, I think he's fitting the mold. He's fitting dude. He's big. He's a good talker. He has a great look. How do you screw him up? He's gonna be popular. The guy is great.
Isn't that funny? How like the exact same things you said. You have Damian Priest showing up and kicking ass, and then you have poor Karrion Kross showing up looking like he's about to go play some real intense Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh man, come on! That stupid helmet, dude. Come on, it really is something else. Raw did 1.9 million viewers. I'm gonna skip NXT here.
Yeah.
For next week, it's a tape show. I'll skip that. SmackDown this week, you're gonna have Roman Reigns defending against Finn Balor. I imagine some sort of schmaz at the end.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we did have AEW Dynamite, and we'll be quick with this. It was a really good Dynamite, and I do think that this match that we saw this week should have opened last week, to be honest. Santana and Ortiz defeated FTR in a great match.
Oh, what a great match.
Fantastic. Santana and Ortiz are fantastic. CM Punk came out, cut a promo. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia jumped them. Darby Allin and Sting showed up. And what did Sting say? Hey, hombre.
Yeah, what did he say? He was like, mucho gusto, my man, or some shit like that. And I was like, whoa, Surfer Sting's coming out. And I don't know where he went with that. It was
is that what you thought? Oh, that's where you went. He was like, hey, gnarly, bro.
Yeah, he was gonna take the face paint off, and then he was gonna be Surfer Sting.
But you know what though? He's hanging out. His kid's a skateboarder. Why can't he just be a surfer again?
Every time I see Darby Allin with Sting, in my head I always think like, "Let's get him, Dad," and then they run down to the ring together.
Dang it, Bobby! You think he acts like Hank Hill with his son? You know what? I love that. I want Sting when he takes all that makeup off. He just turns into Hank Hill. Dang it, Bobby!
That'd be funny. I think they were all excited too. Like those three guys in the ring. How could you not feel that excitement? And you know what? Good for Sting, because he was in there going like, "Yo, this is cool. This is pretty cool." And I do like how they're making it so that on Sunday Sting can't come to the ring with Darby Allin.
Yeah,
or he's going to show up and leave.
Something. Yeah,
that's going to main event, right?
I don't know. It should have main event.
I think it's going to main event, and I think that's also the reason why we're getting Christian versus Kenny as opposed to Hangman versus Kenny.
Well, we're getting Hangman. We're not getting Hangman because he's on
paternity
leave for his wife. Okay. Yeah, for his wife. His wife having a baby or had the baby. I believe she's due. But that match can't main event if your final moment is Bryan Danielson showing up. That's how you could end it. But if you're not going to do that in that match, then I think CM Punk and Darby Allin should headline this show.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I'm very interested to see it, man. It is going to be stacked. It is going to be totally stacked.
Show.
Darby Allin, Sting make their way. Everybody hit their finish, including the GTS. MJF sit down interview compared an aging Ali to Jericho.
Good
Orange
interview.
Orange Cassidy defeated Jack Evans. I enjoyed this match.
Yes.
Match ended during the commercial picture-in-picture. That was a boo-boo. We also got Chris Jericho in-ring interview. Jim Ross. Jim Ross's voice cracking, but when he introduced him, sold me on the segment. Jericho getting nervous about, possibly losing him, getting emotional. Sold me on this. I'm into this. Totally into this match.
Me too. I think it's going to be a fun, very, very stacked All Out, and so much is on the line, right? Like so many promos just leading everybody who's in any match is able to cut an amazing promo. Yeah. And I think that just like adds so much more to what we're going to see over the weekend. Do you think Jericho is going to get that last victory over MJF?
I don't know. Maybe he'll lose.
Yeah, and go tour with Fozzy for like a year and then come back.
Maybe.
A different Jericho.
Maybe it's like, you guys don't need me anymore right now. Maybe he's like, okay, I could take some time off. Look, you look at your roster right now.
Do you think Jericho's going to come back with like a brand new like version of Jericho? At this point, he's got it, right?
Surfer Jericho.
What if he comes back like bald Jericho?
Shaved
with
head?
A mohawk. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm into it. Just a total sufferer.
Like real gnarly looking, like...
No, it took a lot of effort to grow in that hair. I don't think he wants to cut it now. QT Marshall and the Factory were in the ring. QT calls out Paul White, beats up on all of them. Gun Club comes out to make the save, but they attack the Big Show, Paul White. So he attacked his hip. So obviously you're going to get some sort of program with these two. Okay, that's cool. Let the older dudes have a match. That's all right. Dr. Britt Baker DMD with an announcement. Tay Conti defeated Penelope Ford with the bunny. Anna Jay returned to make the save. The young butts. The young butts.
That's where
there
your mind
you go.
is.
That's where my butt is. The Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, the Buck twins. And the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson with Brandon Cutler defeated the Lucha Bros, Penta, El Zero, and Ray Phoenix, along with Jurassic Express. Kenny came out after and beat them all up, locked them all in the cage, and it felt like an ending of a Nitro. Like a good Nitro.
You know what? Good. It was a good ending. I like how Kenny alluded that Tony Khan left the remote for the cage on top of his desk and he swiped it. Swiped it.
I know, but you know what though? What a great way to describe a stupid situation, right? With more stupidity. Like at least there was some thinking there. AEW Rampage lineup: CM Punk speaks, Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, Malachi Black, and Lee Johnson, Chris Stratlander versus Rebel and Jamie Hater. Miro speaks. And by the way, look how many. Here's my only concern with the show. You're going to have two shows already before All Out in the same building. What does that mean to the audience? Are people attending these shows, Wednesday and Friday, also attending All Out? I don't know.
Yeah, they are. I've met a few people. Like, we saw one guy wearing an AEW face mask, and I was like, were you at the show last week? And he, a couple weeks ago, he's like, yeah. I was like, you going this weekend? He was like, I have tickets for every single thing that they're doing.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Like, awesome.
That's cool. That's awesome. Next Wednesday, John Moxley's homecoming.
Cincinnati,
Ohio. BR Live is now Bleacher Report Live, so update your app. Just a reminder. The buy-in is 7 p.m. East, 6 p.m. local. You're going to have Chuck Taylor, Wheeler. You know what? We'll save this for our preview show. I'm not going to
for the weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's save it for the weekend.
And I won't do New Japan either. We'll save that for the weekend show. Q&A time, boys and girls. You want to do questions? Do we have questions?
We got a couple. We got another $4.99 from Frank Grady. I thank you very much.
Awesome.
Have you heard anything about WWE not liking Charlotte? A lot of dirt sheet guys are under the impression Vince wants her to leave eventually.
No, Vince doesn't want her to leave.
No, she's an attraction.
Yeah, they have built her so much. There is nobody. I don't think they've ever put in this much effort in female talent like they have now, with most of their talent, obviously. But Charlotte is like the creme de la creme for them right now.
Yeah, and plus, like, she's arguably one of the better heels in the company.
I'm getting yelled at.
I'm
getting yelled at in the chat room. Big
Take that shirt off.
Stevie Richards. Hey, take that shirt off. Where's your BWO shirt? My BWO shirt has holes in it. I wore it so much. I have to order a new one on ProWrestlingTees.com. If you want a BWO shirt, head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees. And they're running a sale this weekend, guys. You got 20% off at ProWrestlingTees.com. So you can buy your BWO shirt over there. Check out Stevie Richards' shop. Good friend of the show. And a good friend of mine.
He's got to come on again.
Yeah.
We got a question from Slam Hub Wrestling. Will we get NXT takeovers anymore? I'm assuming he means after the creative shift.
Yeah. No, you're going to have takeovers. That's not going away.
We got $2 from Matt J. Hendricks. Any update on Daphne?
No, I hope for the best. Terrible. Very sad.
Matthew Makovsky, I sent a super chat. Anyone know if it was read?
Send it again.
I think we addressed that in the beginning. I am not 100% sure because we had a couple of...
yeah, send it.
Yeah, send it again.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Mark H, any news on if Full Gear gets moved due to UFC? They took down Full Gear info from the website.
I think it is going to get moved. It should get moved. They're going up against UFC, right?
Right. Yeah. They definitely should move it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here.
I would definitely expect them to move it.
This is from Pratik. What are the stage sets and ring ropes going to be at All Out this weekend?
Pratik, I have no idea. I will just tell you, I have not a clue on any of it. Oh, will someone replace Pac, Andrade versus someone else? That's a good question. Joel's laughing. Shut up, Joel.
Joel, where's Joel this weekend?
He's in Canada. He's not coming.
Yeah, we did answer right at the beginning. Sorry we couldn't see the super chat, but we were having technical issues, and we may have gotten yours out of the way before we started the show.
Tons of technical issues today. Sorry, guys.
Tons of technical issues. Is it getting better or is it getting worse?
it's getting worse.
So, what are you most looking forward to this weekend? The shows or the show?
To be honest, everything, man. I think, for me, I think people who know, I actually, by the way, guys, I want to give it a little shout out. Garrett Gonzalez, I did a interview with him on his podcast on Sunday called Observe This. He has it. If you go to the Observer website, you can get there or follow Garrett or my social media at Andrews Aaron. You can follow. But we did an interview, and he was like, talk about your schedule. What it's like for you. And I'm like, I don't think people understand. Like, I'm involved in 18 different businesses.
Yeah.
And I was explaining like how my schedule is, and he was like, "How the hell do you manage life?" I go, "Until I can't, and then I cut something out. That's pretty much how I do it." But we did an awesome interview talking about my thoughts on wrestling journalism and my influences and how I got into broadcasting. If you like that kind of stuff and you kind of want to get a little bit of the nitty gritty, and Garrett is one of the best interviewers I've ever had a chance to sit down with. He's so good at asking the questions and kind of guiding you and piecing it together. I mean, it's a tremendous talent. So I definitely want to give a shout out. And Garrett and I are going to be doing We're Live Pal also with Denise. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of cool stuff this weekend.
Yeah. So I know we're having some technical difficulties here with the feed. Is there any more questions before we wrap it up?
Let's see here. It doesn't seem like there's anything on YouTube or the notes right now.
What are you doing today and tomorrow? What's your plan?
Today, I'm going to walk around a little bit. We're going to drive around a little bit. Tomorrow, we may go to a Cubs game. And then after the Cubs game, we're going to head over to the Hoffman Estates where everybody's staying. And then we're going to get trashed. We're going to get white trash trashed.
Are you staying in Hoffman
with
Estates?
Everybody? Yeah. I'm staying at the Hampton Inn with Mr. Gonzo. And I think Treehouse is also in the same hotel.
Okay.
And you're at the Hyatt, so you're across the street. You're right across the street from us.
Yeah.
So we'll come and set everything up at your place. And then, did you get the upgrade?
No, there's no upgrades to get. There's no room. So we'll figure out how the hell we're gonna do this. But we'll figure it out. It's gonna be fine. We'll set it up in the room. We'll do something.
Future legend, will the shift have an effect on NXT UK?
Not that I've heard.
Okay.
Not that I've heard.
Joe asks, is it possible Adam Cole leaves WWE but doesn't end up in AEW? I hear there's a new startup on the horizon.
What startup is that?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I got a question for you, actually. Are
you talking about WCW 2022? Are you talking about that startup? Have you seen that?
What are the odds? And this is definitely fantasy, but you could say it could happen, right? What are the odds Triple H and Shawn Michaels pull out of all this stuff and start their own thing?
No, never.
Never, right?
Yeah, never.
But these are two dudes who have the money to do it.
They don't. They don't have the money.
You don't think so?
No, they don't have the money to do it right now.
to get like some kind of angel investor just based on the name of Triple H.
I mean, they could. They definitely would. But I don't see that ever happening. They're fine. But it is interesting to think like, what the hell would that look like? I don't know what that would look like. You sometimes when the plates are spinning, it's easy to come in and just like to take over and to maintain the plate spinning, and maybe you get a couple more plates and add that, and now you're this savior. But when you have no plates and you got to get that thing going, very difficult. Everything is difficult.
Without reading too much into the whole NXT thing, it makes me like a little, I don't want to say worried, because all these guys are going to land on their feet, but it makes me think about guys like Ciampa, and like Kyle O'Reilly, Roddy, who have been in NXT for quite some time.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily fit that mold. That
no,
like
they're going to be the veterans.
6'3",
Yeah, they're going to be the veterans. But you look at it this way. Before we wrap it up, think about the profitability of NXT. Okay,
yeah.
Think about how much money they've invested in it to create talent, and how much money they've made from this. The benefit, the good news here is that the cost cutting that's going to happen with not signing known talent is going to benefit them. They're in their performance center, so everything is in-house. That's going to benefit them. A lot of this is cost cutting, but a lot of it is a shift in direction where they're saying, okay, well, we'll do this many viewers regardless of what we do.
Right.
They've assessed that. What's the future here? Are we creating the next generation of talent from the independent talent that we're getting? And to be honest, look, I mean, you look at who their top stars are right now, and they're not really fond of the independent talent. A guy like Ricochet, I keep bringing him up, should be in many high-profile matches, and he's not. Just not a thing.
Do you think I'm going to try to phrase this properly. Do you think if this was a few years ago, Ricochet could have filled that Rey Mysterio spot?
Yeah, if it was, well, I don't know. I don't know. But that's a good question.
Like that David and Goliath spot, because at some point, Rey debuted with such ferocity, and he went pretty much straight to the top, right? Like after maybe a year.
Yeah, but Rey was also really special. Like, you hadn't seen a guy like that in North America.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something you got to see, and he created this great following because he was different. He stood out.
Yeah.
He was a luchador. Yeah, he wore a mask, but we weren't accustomed to that in the States as much as, you would be in Mexico or Japan, a masked wrestler that's high flying. I think for Ricochet, I don't know. I really don't know what happened with him. But a guy like Buddy Murphy, like those,
right?
Where they had him, and that was, they were trying to turn him into Kenny Omega at one point. Right. I'm saying that as a comp. I'm not saying like they were copying Kenny. I'm saying like he was using a V trigger. His style was different. He got jacked. He was looking great. Why not pull the trigger on him? Because they're not looking for a wrestler. They're not. Even the wrestlers don't look like wrestlers anymore. The guys that were Matt Riddle is a wrestler. Matt Riddle is an indie superstar, and he's doing bro humor. Now he's totally become a character. And you could see they don't want wrestlers; they want characters.
Well, all right. Do you think the Ricochet thing, and this is going to tie into the Rey Mysterio thing? Do you think the Rey Mysterio run happened partially because he's so marketable? Just like
with Rey Mysterio?
With Rey, right?
Well, Rey, remember, he was on Smackdown, and that was a time period that they were very big. They discovered that more Hispanic viewers watch SmackDown than Raw. So they got that in their head that they need a big Hispanic superstar, and they had Eddie there, and they had Rey, and Eddie was getting over, and Rey got over big time, and it had to do with the right time and the right place, and also who was booking SmackDown in 2003. It was Heyman.
Paul Heyman? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, what was it? The SmackDown 5, SmackDown 7, whatever they called it. You had Eddie, you had Chris, you had Rey, you had Edge, you had Jericho. I know I'm missing probably somebody, but what a tremendous lineup you had on that thing. They all looked out for each other, right?
Right.
So they all got over. You don't really have that. And a guy like Rey Mysterio, I think there'll always be a place for a Rey Mysterio. I don't think it'll ever get over like a Rey Mysterio.
Well, here's my supplementary 2 questions for that to you. Do you think one of Ricochet's issues is marketability, part 1, and part 2? Do you think Rey Fenix for AEW has that marketability that Rey Mysterio had?
I would say it would be much more difficult today to get over with being another version of Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
I think it'd be very difficult because we've seen so many versions of it now.
Mm-hmm.
They've attempted it so many times to do another Rey Mysterio in that company where I think we're kind of numb to it now.
Okay.
And we still have Rey there.
Yeah, but he's he's slowed down a lot clearly, which is good for him. But those remember those first times you would watch that dude and you just Halloween Havoc 98, I think.
Oh, fantastic.
We got one more super chat question,
and then we'll wrap it up.
Then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
It's from Ryan Evans, $5. Thank you. Andrade posted on Twitter a picture of himself versus a question mark at All Out. Is he still hinting he's going to be there?
Maybe he went in business for himself. I don't know. I'd love to see Andrade. I was looking forward to that match.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
What if Daniel Bryan comes out? He's like, you need an opponent?
Here you go, bud.
And then he does this.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind it if Andrade inserted himself into the TNT Championship match with Kingston and Miro.
Oh yeah, I would like that too.
That would be a fun 3-way, for those guys, right?
You know what? How mad would you be? Okay, Daniel Bryan.
I'm with you.
All of a sudden, the lights go off,
and
you hear the music, and you hear Daniel Bryan's music, and it cuts off, and it's like this 70s disco, and he comes out with the fat chick Thriller gimmick. That's his gimmick in AEW. They do the whole Mike Awesome fat chick Thriller gimmick.
I'd be super confused.
Yeah, how mad would you be?
I don't know if I'd get mad, but I would just be confused.
I'd be so mad, man. I'd be so angry. I would be so angry that they did that. I'm waiting for that first, from them. I'm waiting for that. Yeah, I'm waiting because it's going to come. Everybody makes a mistake.
You don't think the first was the barbed wire?
No, because that wasn't their. It wasn't on them.
Okay.
That wasn't like their terrible booking. I'm waiting for that moment though. I'm waiting for the I'm waiting for like Adam Cole to show up, but his gimmick is that he's like Baby New Year, like Big Show. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh no, you're waiting for
an egg. He comes out of an egg.
You're waiting for their gobbledygooker moment or their Shockmaster moment, basically.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that.
That would be hysterical.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for this week. We'll see you on Saturday. We'll be live Saturday. So we'll have the time and everything updated probably when we get it. So we'll see you all next week or this week. We'll see you all in a couple days.
Soon.
See you in Chicago. I'm out of here.
See you in Chicago later.